Welcome to Workout from Home 60 with Lockdown 1.0 and Lockdown 2.0. We are accumulating so many Workout from Home videos for you guys. Well, here in Workout from Home number 60 at the 4 Bells, we have a leg day today with the big emphasis being on squatting patterns. We're going to do some bilateral two-legged squatting versions in our strength piece today. We're going to do a lot of single leg variants in our conditioning piece today. We're going to warm up with 3 things to get us ready. We are going to do some down dog toe taps, some of Coach Ben's favorite mobility drills. Gets the posterior chain warmed up, gets the spine nice and mobilized. From there, some wall facing squats. So actually me facing the wall, and it really is a good indicator of hip flexion and ankle mobility and spinal mobility when we're doing the wall facing squat. Last but not least, we are going to do some low side stepping. If you've got a booty band, we're going to use that, get those glutes nice and active before squat day. So we are going to do these 3 things 3 times in our warm up today. Let's see how they should look.
To start, we're going to get into the down dog toe tap. I want to set up on all 4s. From here, I'm going to set my hips up and back, trying to lock out the knees, and then I'm going to reach across my left hand to my right toe. I'm going to pause for 1, come forward, reach across, get that length through the hamstring, press the heel down, get a little more stretch to the calf, pause for 1. We're doing 10 reps like this. Once you finish your 10, right away you're going to find yourself a piece of wall or a door or a fridge, something, flat surface. If you have a hat on, like I do because you're covering up your COVID hair, you're going to turn the hat around. To start, I'm going to set up my normal squat. So shoulder width apart. I am not sumo squatting it, okay? From here, starting with the hands out low. If you have good mobility, you can bring those hands up high. But to start, I'm going to bring my shoulders down, hands to the side. And I'm going to keep my nose nice and close to the floor and control the motion all the way down. If that feels okay, maybe I'll step my feet a little bit closer together or get my feet a little bit closer to the wall. From here, my hands could even go up a little bit higher. Again, I'm trying not to just drop to the floor. I want to control the motion all the way down and drive it back up. Next movement, warming up the glutes with a little hip abduction. You're welcome. We're going to get into a low side step. If you have a band, as we like to call it here, a booty band, now is the time to put it on your legs just above your knees. If you don't have that, it means you just got to get a little bit lower so you get a little more activation through the movement. From here, feet are shoulder width apart, knees are in line with toes. You're trying to rip that band apart, getting nice and low, and I'm going to step 1, 2, 3, up to 5. The idea here is you want to keep those feet pointed forward. If you start to get lazy with it, or you start to come up, we're not warming up the way we're supposed to. Get nice and low, keep those muscles engaged the entire time.
During our strength day for Workout from Home 60, we've got a little combination in our strength sets. We've got some squatting, particularly at tempo, and then we're also going to do some crawling today. So when we're looking at our sets, we're going to do 5 sets. Each set is 3 minutes long, split into 2 90-second windows of time. In my first 90-second windows of time, I'm going to do a front squat. That does not mean a mysterious new type of front squat. It means what kind of front-loaded squat can I do with what I have available at home. If you are very lucky, maybe you have a squat rack with a barbell, maybe you have 2 dumbbells you have in a front rack position, maybe it's a kettlebell, maybe it's a suitcase, maybe it's a jug of water, maybe it's a big cat, whatever you happen to have. We are going to be doing 10 reps today at a 1-3-x-1 tempo, which essentially means we're going to descend down into the squat, keeping tension. We're going to hold there for 3 seconds, and then we're going to explode up nice and fast. So hopefully that means regardless of what you have available at home, you should be able to get a very good and intense leg workout in. Once that 90 seconds is done, we're going to come into our next 90 seconds where we are going to do 30 seconds of a low style of bear crawl. So working on the vestibular system, transverse locomotion, as well as stability through a lot of the joints and a lot of core work as well. We're going to go over how to do those crawls today. So with the squats, if we can, we're going to try and get heavier, if it's possible for you, as those 5 sets go on. But with the crawling, we're just going to try and keep that quality there for the entire 30 seconds. Let's take a little look at all the options available. So today being leg day, there is no better exercise to do than a good old-fashioned squat. We are going to do some kind of front-loaded squat today. So that may mean you are lucky enough to have a squat rack with a barbell. Maybe you don't have that. Maybe you've just got one big heavy kettlebell or a series of kettlebells. Maybe you've got one heavy dumbbell and one light dumbbell. Either way, we can find a way to get some work done if you can look around your house and find ways to be creative. Whatever I'm trying to do today, I'm thinking about using a front-loaded squat to keep my torso more vertical, which in turn protects the low back. We are going to be pausing for 3 seconds at the bottom of each rep. So, if I'm stepping with the barbell, first of all, never come out this way. This is just for demonstration purposes. So, if I'm stepping in for a front rack squat, ideally I want to be thinking I'm going to try and keep that bar as close to my center of mass as possible. So don't be afraid of a barbell in the windpipe. No one has died from front squatting. I'm going to squat down for 1, then it'll be 1, 2, 3, and drive back up. So if that rack position doesn't work for you, you can do the cross arm position. Again, I come down, 1, 2, 3, and stand back up. If barbells aren't available to you, I'm not going to bother with the pause because you know what to do. Maybe I've got a kettlebell. Maybe I've got 2 different kettlebells together and I'm switching reps every 5 reps. Switching weights every 5 reps. Whatever it is, find something around your house. We're going to do 10 reps per set, 3-second pause at the bottom. Try and get heavier each set if you can.
We're going to get into the low bear crawl. There's a lot of different options you have with the low bear crawl. Well, the 2 keys that you need to focus on are keeping the core engaged and keeping the hips from moving side to side. So whether you go forwards or backwards or move side to side, you want to make sure that your hips are not doing the thing that's moving. So if you have, let's say, for example, a cup of delicious coffee, perhaps a glass of wine, put that on your low back, see if it spills. We're going to set up hands underneath your shoulders. Knees are directly underneath your hips. I'm going to dig my toes in. From here, my knees hover off the ground. Stabilizing the hips, brace through the core. I'm going to move forward. A lot of intention through my toes and hands. You think my drink would spill? The idea is, if I'm shifting too much in the hips, right? Now my core is disengaged, I'm not using the quads the way I should. I can go backwards, I can go sideways. A little more brain game side to side. Either way, we're going to go for 30 beautiful seconds at this pace. Not too fast, not too slow. The rest of the time is rest before you get back into your squats.
Legs and abs, abs and legs, that's what we are doing in the conditioning piece today. We have got 4 1-minute stations that we are going to do for 4 rounds. So that's a 16-minute workout today. Each minute is split into 40 seconds of work, followed by 20 seconds of rest. So that means in my first minute, I'm going to be doing 40 seconds of some kind of pistol squat. We're going to go over some options available for you in a minute. I'm then going to rest for 20 seconds before coming into a plank on the bows or on your elbows for 40 seconds. From there, we go into Cossack squats, going from side to side in our Cossack squat. And then from there, in our last minute, it will be mountain climbers, nice and slow. So, we are going to try, if we can, to keep the quality and consistency throughout our conditioning piece today. So that means however many reps I'm doing, trying not to let those reps drop off. If I'm holding, like my plank, or I'm holding in my mountain climbers, trying not to break. We're trying to move consistently and throughout the entire 40 seconds before we spend that 20-second transition time. So let's go over how to do all of these and how to get ourselves conditioned. The pistol, a great exercise, because in my opinion it is the de facto exercise that not only demonstrates strength throughout a single leg, but also demonstrates mobility and stability and flexibility and all those attributes that we want our legs to have. We want our legs to be like bamboo, should be strong but flexible. That's what we want. So when it comes to doing pistols, first things, for a lot of people doing a just standard pistol on the floor is incredibly difficult. So we are going to go over a few of what Coach Ben likes to call assisty pisties, which is assisted pistol variations. So that can be if you have the stairs at your house, or a box, or a bench, or the edge of the couch is being on one leg and still trying to get into that squat position. So we're leaning with the hips back. I'm allowing the shin to track forwards. I squat down and then drive up from there. So if we're doing our conditioning piece today, I'm trying to alternate from one leg to the next, going from one side to the other. I could potentially do it standing on top of a box. I wouldn't do this on a soft surface. We need to make sure it's a nice firm surface. And definitely if you're in your house, make sure it's not going to flip over and kill you while you're in your basement. So again, if I want to, I can maybe do a pistol on a box. And then from there, we've got options using things like doors, or your TRX, or your rings. And again, I can use these, but when I am using these, all I need to think about is that sitting squat position. I'm not squatting down, and then all of a sudden, can we see I have a vertical shin here? We want to make sure that shin still comes forwards, almost like I'm in a squat. Use the arms to assist me as I go from side to side. And of course, if I don't have a TRX or rings, I could always use a door frame. So hold on to the edge of the door, make sure my leg goes through the door, and I'm using that door frame to assist me as I perform my pistols. So we're going to go back and forth, side to side, for 40 seconds.
For your second set in the conditioning piece, you're going to hold a plank on your elbows for 40 seconds. The idea is elbows stacked underneath your shoulder, elbows are about shoulder width apart. I set up my plank and I'm going to brace. I'm going to squeeze my butt, brace to my core. I can even work on my grip, try to make it a little extra challenging. We want to fight two things, saggy butt or the tent pose. Alright, nice strong plank, brace to the core, solid from your ankles to your ears.
Beautiful.
For exercise number 3, another, kind of single leg exercise, but we get to have both on the ground. So very similar to, like, you could argue like a lunge is a unilateral or single leg exercise, but both legs are on the floor, so one is aiding with stability. So compared to the pistol, this one is a little bit nicer because there isn't as much balance and stability, but there is the evil part to it, which is adductor or groin and medial hamstring flexibility. So that bit of your hamstring is behind your knee. So when it comes to the Cossack squat, first of all, can I demonstrate good positions of mobility? So that means my feet are going to be nice and wide. I like to call this the Jean-Claude Van Damme. From here, I'm going to keep the chest up and maybe have my hands out in front to balance. I'm going to bring the hips across and then down, and hopefully I can keep the heel down, knee in line with the toe, hips nice and low and chest high, and hopefully I can go from side to side. If this is super difficult, convenient placement of plate. I can use the plate or a small weight to help counterbalance me if my ankles are a bit tight and I feel like I'm going to fall over. Either way, side to side with the Cossack squat for 40 seconds before we get into slow mountain climbers.
For our fourth movement in the conditioning piece, we're going to do 40 seconds of slow, key on slow, mountain climbers. The idea here is we're holding a nice strong plank throughout the 40 seconds, and we are moving with purpose, making our abs contract, using our hips and using our quads. So in this plank position, I drive up and back, pushing into the floor, nice and under control. If you want to get a little more obliques, as a little gift, you can go across to the opposite elbow. Just making sure we're not compromising and rounding the spine, keeping that nice solid plank the entire 40 seconds. After that, we get back in to our second round. We're going to do 4 rounds. Pistols, plank on the elbows, Cossack squats, and those slow mountain climbers. And that's your conditioning piece, and that's your Monday. Have a good one.